Hello, hello. Sorry, my other screen's over there with my notes and stuff. Um, but hi. This is my first time going live on YouTube, so I'm kind of excited. I wanted to go live. I did this on Instagram, and so I decided let's try doing this on YouTube as well. So today we're going to be talking about how to get your film ready for distribution. And this is all in preparation for, well, actually, I have a Halloween special going on right now. So today is October 23rd. And so this special goes on until October 31st at midnight. And basically, it's one on one strategy sessions. And basically, you can get a one on one consultation with me to kind of talk about your business plan strategy for your film. What are you planning to do for your film? And I wanted to do how to get your film ready for distribution because I'm finding that a lot of people don't even understand why they need a business strategy. They don't understand how that applies to even getting a distribution deal. And so I wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit today. And so, the reason why I'm doing this too is too many filmmakers make their film and they don't know what to do with them after the film festival circuit, right? So you spend all this time making this film, you're excited about it, you know you want to get into the film festival circuit. So you do the film festivals, right? You spend your money traveling to film festivals and doing all these things. And then after the film festival circuit, now what? You know, are you just going to put it on YouTube? You try to get distribution. Maybe you're going to self-distribute through an aggregator like Film Hub or Bitmax. But you really don't have much of a plan after that. And you're not even sure how to get next to a distribution company. And so I want to help filmmakers stop doing that. There's nothing wrong with doing the film festivals, but a lot of filmmakers still think that, oh, someone's going to discover my film at the film festival and I'm going to magically get this distribution deal, right? Or they're going to love it so much because this is the best thing since sliced bread and I'm going to get picked up. But those things don't really happen like they used to anymore. Film festivals are more about getting exposure, right? Connecting, networking. They're not really as much about getting distribution. Or people think, okay, I'm going to go to the American film market and I'm going to somehow meet this distributor and I'm going to get distribution. But again, that doesn't work like that. Usually those things are planned out. And so I want to help take some of the mystery out of it. Too many filmmakers also are taken advantage of by sales agents and distribution companies because they don't really understand how the distribution process works or how deals are structured. Too many filmmakers don't even know what they should have when approaching a distributor. Like, how should your film be packaged when you're approaching a distributor? They'll go to a distributor and ask what the deliverables should be instead of having deliverables ready, right? So I'm gonna explain what I mean about that in a moment. Most of the time, I would say filmmakers, when they think of deliverables, they're only thinking of like closed captioning and all the technical deliverables that you need when you're getting your film distributed. But there are some business deliverables that are necessary as well. And so you want to make sure that your film is packaged properly so that it can be distributed and that you can get a good deal for your film. Too many filmmakers won't even attempt to learn more about the business of filmmaking. They assume because they watch videos on YouTube and maybe hired an entertainment attorney, they're good. But I can tell you the number of times I've heard I'd rather pay someone than to learn the business side of filmmaking. And honestly, in this day and age, if you don't learn the business side of filmmaking, you're doing yourself a disservice. Gone are the days where you can stick your head in the sand and just hope and pray that everything works out. Or just hiring someone who handles the business side, but you don't understand what it is they're handling, like you have no clue what they're doing on the business side, leaves you open for being taken advantage of. Yes, I get that this isn't why you got into filmmaking. You are creative and you want to spend your time making beautiful films, but you don't want someone handling your business and you have no clue as to what that exactly means. You need to educate yourself some on the business side. So that way, you know if you're hiring the right person, right? Because you have a clue as to what their job should be and how it should be maintained. And so you know you're hiring the right person. You know when something ain't right. When they're doing something that feels a little shady, you're aware of it. And so that's why I want more independent filmmakers to really start to educate themselves on the business side of filmmaking. For example, even when you're shopping for a distributor, most people don't understand what distributors do. They just think, oh, they're going to get me a deal and I'm going to make all this money. But really, a film distributor is pretty much the conduit or connector between you, the filmmaker, and the platform that your film's going to be distributed on. So whether it's a streaming platform, whether it's theatrical, they're the ones who kind of get those deals for you. And so in order to negotiate those deals on those streaming platforms, your film has to be packaged in a way that they can pitch to the platforms, and the platforms can know, okay, this film is very marketable, right? There's certain things in place already that, yes, we want this movie. And that's why, I really try to teach my students about understanding about having revenue streams already in place. Like, what ways are you making money with your film before you even approach a distributor? What ancillary products are attached to your film, meaning products that are basically based on maybe the theme of your movie, that are already in place and that are generating revenue before you go to the distributor, right? So you're not putting all your eggs in the distributor basket and hoping that it's going to get on this streaming platform and make all this money. Because the truth is, a lot of the streaming platforms are not paying as much money as they used to, specifically to indie filmmakers, but to filmmakers in general. A lot of them are creating original content now. And so the amount of money they're paying to an indie filmmaker has reduced significantly. Like it used to be, that you could make pretty decent money if you self-distribute your film through an aggregator like Film Hub, and it got on Tubi. The filmmakers are making some decent money, but now Tubi has original content. They're I think they got bought by Fox, and so they've got more studio content. And so, yes, they're still taking indie projects, but the amount of money that those indie projects are making has reduced significantly. And that's kind of across the board with a lot of streaming platforms. A lot of times, filmmakers are just getting their movies on these streaming platforms to get some recognition and some notability, but not necessarily to actually generate high quality revenue, right, or high quantity revenue. And so you need to be aware of that, because you may be excited about your project getting on Amazon Prime or getting on Peacock even, right? But then you're going to be disappointed because now you can barely pay back maybe the investors who invested in your film project. So you need to understand how this business works. And it starts with you packaging your film properly before you approach a distributor, before you approach a sales agent. Because that's the other thing people don't understand. Sales agents, now, there's some slimy ones out there, but they don't really understand. I like to liken how some of the sales agent business works to how kind of the music business worked back in the 90s, right? And I know I'm dating myself, but if you saw bands like TLC, right, they were kind of taken advantage of, according to their story, by their management company, because they didn't realize all the hidden fees that were in their contract, because they didn't fully read it, right? So they were charged goo gobs of money for towels and water bottles and all these things. So after spending all this time on tour, right, they learned they didn't really make any money, and they were filing for bankruptcy and having financial issues. Well, a sales agent kind of can work similarly. If you're not really reading the fine print of your contract, or if you're not understanding it, which a lot of indie filmmakers, they just get excited that they have a sales agent, and they don't hire an entertainment attorney or really read the fine print. Your sales agent packages movies, and let's say to go to American film market, right? They're going to package maybe 5 movies together, and they're going to take them all to the film market and pitch them all and see what sticks, right? See which one of those 5 films gets picked up. But the problem with that is you're paying, all 5 filmmakers are paying for that sales agent to go to the film market, right? So if out of if that film gets picked up, and let's say they sell your film knock on wood, let's say your film gets picked up and for 250,000, right? Well, out of that 250,000, you may need to pay 20,000 for the travel of the sales agent to go to the film market, right? And then maybe their airfare accommodations, whatever it costs for them to get into the market. If they set up an office or something at the market, all that money comes out of whatever money they make on your film project. And if there were five of you, it's not like they divide it between the five. Each one of you are paying $20,000 or more. So by the time everything is paid, from every bill, every little incidental, maybe they have meals, all those things, you maybe end up with $20,000, right? When you were expecting $250,000, and you're like, oh my God, where did all the money go? Well, sales agent pulls out this long list of these are all the things that we had to cover in order to get this deal for you. But you should be happy because now your film is on a streaming platform. And so I wanted filmmakers to start to understand this process. Now, not all sales agents are like this, but I've seen this happen to a lot of filmmakers time and time again. And a huge part of that is because they refuse to learn the business side of filmmaking. They don't understand where their money goes or how their money is collected and how their money is distributed before it even gets to them. And so I want you to start to understand what it takes to actually get your film distributed so that you're not taken advantage of and that you can come in with some skin in the game because that gives you negotiating power. If you start to create revenue streams for your film before you speak to a sales agent or distributor, that makes their, first of all, for a distributor, I can tell you, it makes their job much easier. It's much easier for them to pitch you to a streaming platform because, like I mentioned earlier, you've already got revenue streams in place, right? They're just helping your reach. So your film can already start making money, but they're just helping you reach further markets, right? Maybe you didn't have a reach internationally or something of that nature. Now they can help you with that process. And that looks attractive to them because they know you have an audience and a fan base. So it's really important for filmmakers to start to learn this. That's why I'm doing like my special that I have going on right now. It's a one-on-one strategy session for Halloween that ends December 31st. So we can look at, excuse me, October 31st, because Halloween is October, not December. October 31st for just $97. I'm doing one-on-one 1 hour strategy sessions so that we can look at your specific film project and start planning and mapping out a revenue strategy, right? And this is all leading into the Profitable Filmmakers Challenge I have going on starting November 17th to the 21st. It's a 5-day challenge where we start breaking all these things down, some of the steps that you need to take to set your film up for success. So if you're interested in that, I will put the comment in the description, but you can always go to landimaduro.com. So my name, Landi Maduro, LandiMaduro.com, and click on the Halloween Filmmakers Special, and you can book that one-on-one consultation, and you get to get into the Profitable Filmmakers Challenge. General admission is only $65 when you book a one-on-one strategy session with me. Or you can upgrade to the VIP experience where we do hot seat coaching during the 5-day challenge and get $50 off of that. So I'm doing this because I care. I'm so tired of seeing filmmakers taken advantage of. I'm tired of them not understanding what it takes for their films to actually get distribution and for them not making money off of their projects. Like, y'all put your blood, sweat, and tears into these films, right? You should be making money from them. And so that's why I teach this. So a couple other things I definitely want to cover while I have you guys on live right now. Why you need a pitch deck. So just even if you're getting distribution, not just for investors, you need a pitch deck. Excuse me. That's how you know we're live. I'm coughing. I felt it coming on. Oh my goodness. This was happening to me earlier today. I feel like it's allergy season or I'm coming down with something. All right. So you definitely need a pitch deck when you are trying to get distribution. Oh my goodness. All right. So, because you need to pitch your project, right? So, a lot of filmmakers, some of my students have told me they have a fear of pitching, right? Because they don't want to hear no, or they're just nervous because they don't know how to package their film in the deck. They feel overwhelmed by the business side of filmmaking. They're hoping that a distributor just kind of discovers them, right? And none of these are tactics that are going to help you. So the reason why you need a pitch deck, because you need to kind of break down what your business plan for your film is. So there are different kinds of decks, and a lot of filmmakers get these mixed up. They'll do one deck that has all this information in it, from their creative vision to the thematic themes. Then they'll have some business stuff. Then they'll have their comps. They'll have all the actors, their wish list, then some of the actors that are actually attached. And they'll have maybe the budget, all this stuff. That usually filmmakers are bogging down their decks with way too much information. You should have a lot of the pages I just mentioned, but you need to revolve them based on who you're pitching to, because every person doesn't need all those pages. When I see decks that are like 25 and 30 pages, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is way too much. You need to tailor your deck to who you're pitching to, right? So if you're pitching to a distributor, they're more concerned about the comps, right? They want to know what it's comparable to so they can understand how to pitch your movie. They will definitely want to know some of the business information, right? They may be interested in some of the actors and things of that nature, but they're not really caring about your artistic vision and thematic themes. None of that helps them get your film distributed, right? Now, if you're dealing with a creative producer, they are interested in those things. They want to know your vision, your directing style, some of the imagery, and all those things are important to like a creative producer. But anyone who's business related, they want to know the numbers. What is going to be the return on investment? How much money do films like yours make? Right? Those are the things that they care about. So understanding who you're pitching to and then altering your deck to fit that person is super important. So I say have those things on hand. And honestly, I know different people say different things about this, but my motto is you should never have a budget in a pitch deck. Budgets are negotiable. So have your budget ready and on hand when you get the meeting and all that good stuff. You can state your number, right, to whoever you're talking to. Let's say if you're seeking an investor, right? If your movie isn't made and you're seeking an investor and you're making a pitch deck for them. So I'm sidebarring here because now I'm talking about investor, not a distributor. But if you're doing that, then have your budget on hand, itemized and ready to go. But that's not the first thing that you give out the gate. Because like I said, budgets are negotiable and you don't want to be giving your budget, but you probably could have got more money to really make your movie even better, right? Or you've given this outrageous budget and they're like, this budget is out of the scope of what we're willing to do. So you want to feel out if you're pitching to an investor who you're pitching to. But definitely understanding that your pitch deck needs to fit the person you're pitching to is important. The other thing you need to be considering when you're getting your film ready for distribution is you need to identify your target audience. And unfortunately, a lot of times when I'm working with filmmakers, they miss this mark. They think, oh, my target audience are, I don't know, women between the ages of 35 and 40, or hopefully a little broader than that. Let's say 25 and 30, 40 who love romantic comedies. That is too broad, right? That we need to be specific. Your film shouldn't appeal to everyone. You want to pick a specific person, not just a group of people, but a specific person so that you know how to market to them. Because more and more, as a filmmaker, part of your job is marketing, right? So you want to be very specific. It's not just a woman between this age range that likes romantic comedies. This is a woman who lives in the Midwest, who loves yoga, loves Starbucks. Maybe she shops mostly on Amazon, but every once in a while she'll go into her favorite Sephora store, right? And she loves bright colors, makeup with bright colors, like being very specific. And the reason for that is then you know where to meet that person, right? Because women between the ages of 25 and 40, if you're doing, let's say, a social media campaign, those, depending on, the 25-year-old and the 40-year-old don't really hang out on the same social media. There may be some crossover, but you're going to find the 20-year-old more on TikTok and the 40-year-old more on Instagram and Facebook. And so you have to understand who you are speaking to so you know where to market to them, where to share, hey, this is coming out about my film. I have this awesome thing happening. We're having this screening, kind of getting your audience and fans engaged on what's going on with your film. You have to know where they are. And so it doesn't make sense to spend a ton of time on TikTok if your target audience isn't on TikTok, right? So understanding who is your target audience, be as specific as possible. And when you're specific, trust the other people will come, right? But as long as you're marketing to that person, you will get interest from others, right? Nike, right? They market that just do it, and they have, specific groups that they're targeting. Their whole running shoe, right? They had that whole campaign about running and jogging and all that good stuff, right? They were very specific. Did that mean that people who don't run bought them shoes? Of course they did, because the commercial's appealing. It looks good. I like the swoosh. Maybe I love the colors. The shoes are comfortable. So yeah, that may not be marketing to me if I'm not a runner, but that doesn't mean I won't go and buy the shoes. So be specific. If you market to everyone, then you're really marketing to no one. And you have to be able to articulate when you're trying to get a distribution deal who your target audience is. That is your job as the filmmaker, especially if you're like the writer and director of your film, right? You need to be able to speak to that. Why having a revenue strategy matters. Festivals are exposure, like I said, not distribution. So offer bite size. Offer. You want to make sure that you have a simple strategy for how you're going to make money with your film. Maybe you're going to, like I said earlier, sell ancillary products. Maybe you have, I don't know, some special ebook or something based on the theme of your movie. Maybe you're doing a play on what's going on with some of the characters in your film and you've created a product around that. But you need to have some other revenue stream other just leaning on distribution that you can show to your distributor, because it's just going to help you create a bigger and better deal. When you have a built-in audience, when you go to a distributor and you already have revenue streams, you have negotiating power. Okay. You can let them know, look, I've built this without you. I'm just trying to further my reach. I feel like I said that already, but because I was going off my notes and now I'm looking back at my notes. All right. All right. So with that being said, like if these are things that you're struggling with, if you're like, I don't really know, how to create a revenue strategy, or I'm not sure, what could be an ancillary product with my film. And when I say ancillary product, I do want to make it clear. I'm not talking about just t-shirts and hats and mugs, because those are the typical things when you have a movie. Oh, I'm going to make hoodies and I'm going to make t-shirts. And there's nothing wrong with those types of merch, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm talking about going a little deeper to really get your audience hyped about your film. If you think about your favorite, let's say if you're into sci-fi, your favorite sci-fi movie, like if you're a Star Wars junkie, right? Star Wars has lightsabers and the outfits and all these things that, you can recognize someone who loves Star Wars. Same with Star Trek, right? My dad is a Trekkie. He has that little communicator. I bought him one from Comic-Con, and then he got another one that someone gave him, and he wears that thing on everything, on his suits, everything, because he loves it. He's a Trekkie. He loves having it. He loves being connected to the Star Trek world, and he loves the conversation that it sparks when someone sees him wearing it. Who said you can't do that for your film? You know what I mean? Like, you totally can. Now, I get it's a studio film and it's big, right? They got all the money and stuff like that. But you can still do simple things like that tie to the theme of your movie. If you think about, I always love to share about Scream. When the horror movie Scream first came out, that horror mask, right, became just like synonymous with Halloween. Now, every Halloween, we see that ghost face mask, right? But that came from the movie Scream. And so you can have products like that. You can create a toy, you can create maybe the murder weapon if you're doing a horror movie, a rubber knife or something that ties to the theme of your film that you can get your audience excited about, and then get them to purchase it and bring it, wear it or whatever the item is to your premiere, right? Get them really engaged in your film. How many people at a huge Star Wars premiere will buy a lightsaber or get the outfit so that they can be a Jedi or whatever to go to the screening, because it becomes an immersive event. You can do that at the indie level as well and have a private little screening to launch the you getting a distribution deal, or you really doing a private special screening for your fans and getting them excited about the fact that you are getting ready to release your film. The sky is the limit. But unfortunately, I feel like too many times we put ourselves in this box and think we can only do it one way. We have to have these things in line. But you have to think outside the box now. With the induction of AI and all the changes that are happening in our industry, you have to be able to think differently and pivot and find new and interesting ways to get people interested about your film and engage your audience. And so I want to see you succeed. That is why I am doing my Halloween special that I have going on right now. It is a one-on-one strategy session. So we'll look at your film project, and we'll look at, or even if you have a series, like today I was meeting with a student earlier today. She has an awesome web series. And so we mapped out some ancillary products that she can sell connected to her series, and some steps she can take so that she's doing breadcrumb drops, right, up until she releases her actual web series, right? And so she'll be creating revenue, right? So when she releases it, she will be in such an awesome place for distribution if she so chooses, or if she decides to just do a really smart YouTube release. You can do that as well. Because again, I hate when filmmakers just put stuff on YouTube, but if you put it on YouTube with a strategic plan, you can create monetization and actually make some revenue. So I'm just so tired of filmmakers, just making something. They do the film festival circuit and then they just put it on YouTube, and then that's it. And then it just sits there and 10, maybe 5 people watch it, or maybe 10 people watch it. I want to help you have a strategy. So when you put it on YouTube, if that ends up being your goal, that you actually are generating revenue from it, right? And so that's why I'm doing this Halloween special. I really want to help filmmakers win. Again, it's a one-on-one strategy session, only $97, and you can have until October 31st. I don't know why I keep saying December. I think it's because at the end of the day and my brain is tired. But October 31st of 2025, you can book this one-on-one strategy session for just $97, and we will go through some of these things with your specific project that I just talked about. And that also allows you, like I mentioned, you can get into the Profitable Filmmakers Challenge that starts November 17th through the 21st. It is a 5-day challenge. So for 5 days, we will be going through some of the things I talked about, building out your strategy, right? So you're going to get some of the information in your one-on-one session, and then in those 5 days, we're going to implement some of those things. So it is not just it's a challenge and you're just going to listen to me talk about a bunch of information. Oh no, I'm going to give you actionable steps, and you're going to have homework, and you're going to come back and make sure you get the next step, right? So if you book the one-on-one strategy session, then you can get into the Profitable Filmmakers Challenge for just $65. So that's $65 for 5 days of information. And then you can also upgrade to the VIP experience and get hot seat coaching during the 5 days. So you join the meeting an hour earlier, and we can talk about where you're at with your homework and get some feedback on what's going on with your specific project if you upgrade to the VIP. And VIP, if you book a one-on-one strategy session at that $97 rate while the special is going on, then you get $50 off of the VIP experience. So I tried to make this as affordable as possible, but actually help you leave with something that you can actually do and implement now. Doesn't matter if your film isn't made, right? So I've been talking about distribution, but it doesn't matter if your film isn't made yet. Honestly, you're in a great place. If you haven't made your film yet, maybe it's just a concept, maybe you're starting production. Now is the time to tackle these. Unfortunately, most filmmakers wait to think about distribution till their film is made. But you should be thinking about these things before you even get started. Now, if you have already made your film and don't feel like, oh, well, now I'm, behind the curveball. I already made my film and I already did film festivals. I'm just trying to figure out what to do next. Don't worry, we can still figure out a strategy for you. But I want to speak to those people who want to make their film too, and maybe they're just got a script, or they're still in the development stages, or maybe they're filming it. I want you to know you're actually in a great place because you can start implementing these things and bringing your audience on board. You can take them on this journey with you of making your film, invite them into the writer's room, right? Invite them into the table read, get them engaged with your film now, right? Get quick B-roll of you on your phone on set. So you're getting excited about your project. And then when you introduce ancillary products, they're already invested and they're invested in your products. So these are kind of strategies and things we'll be deep diving into in the Profitable Filmmakers Challenge that starts November 17th through the 21st. Again, it is a 5-day challenge. If you don't want a one-on-one strategy session, maybe you feel like I'm not ready for that, I just want to learn more about how to create revenue streams and be a profitable filmmaker, then you can just go ahead and go straight to londymaduro.com, click classes and workshops. You can sign up for the Profitable Filmmaker Challenge for just $97. That's general admission. Or you can upgrade to the VIP experience and get hot seat coaching on your specific film. Or you can take advantage of, like I said, the one-on-one strategy session for $97, and then you can get into the Profitable Filmmakers Challenge for just $65. So if you're interested in any of those things, visit my website, londymaduro.com. I can't even speak today, londymaduro.com/Halloween. I will put that information in the description notes. Actually, it looks like I can put it in the chat. So let me do that real quick. So this is the Halloween special that we have going on. Halloween special. And so you can take advantage of that Halloween special. And like I said, if you're like, I'm not ready for one-on-one strategy yet, and I think that you are, even if your film isn't made yet, but if you're feeling like, I just am curious about the Profitable Filmmakers Challenge, and I really want support and understanding how I can go about doing all of this, or what I should be doing first, then I will put that link in the chat for the Profitable Filmmakers Challenge. I can't talk and type at the same time. All right. So you can go there and take advantage of that. Again, it's just $97 for 5 days of information. And again, it is November 17th through November 21st. So at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you upgrade to VIP experience, you can get in an hour earlier and get that hot seat coaching and get feedback on your homework and where you're at with your film. So I hope this was helpful. I feel like I rambled a little bit because I quit looking at my notes and just was talking to the camera. But again, I want to see you win. You guys work so hard on your films. I've seen some amazing film projects from my students. And then I'm just so sad to hear, well, I don't know what to do with it. It didn't really do much after the film, or I had a hard time getting in film festivals. So I'm just putting it on YouTube and, tell people they can watch it there. You please don't do that. Please don't. Please don't. Let's make sure that we can get you some money flowing for that project. I think every little bit helps. And so anything we can do to help you do that, anything I can do to help you do that, I'm super excited and happy to do for you. My students, they are walking away with actual revenue strategy. Matter of fact, I have a group of students in my Blue Child Academy. They are prepping for their holiday sales, right? They've got their 90-day to Black Friday assignment, and they are going to be releasing their products in time for Christmas. So those are the kind of business strategies that we work on Because as creatives, we have to understand business and we have to create a path for ourselves, no longer relying on someone to pick us, but we're making the choice to stand up for ourselves so that we can make money for ourselves. So I hope you found this helpful. I'm going to try to come on, maybe every day leading up to the end of the Halloween special that I have going on for the one-on-one strategy session. But if you have any questions, if any of this resonates with you, or if you need me to dive deeper into something that I mentioned today, please comment and let me know. I definitely want to be of service and be helpful. I do this because I actually, like I said, I care. I want to see filmmakers win. That's why I have a whole nonprofit, Women of Color Filmmakers, because I want to see filmmakers win. So I hope you find this helpful, and I will catch you next time. Have a great night, everyone.